Hi, friends and neighbors. This is Angela McFarland with the Ballston Journal, and tonight we are here to talk about the latest in the Milton Republican primary, and the latest being the newest article that appeared today in the Times-Union about candidate Scott Ostrander. As many of you know, candidate Scott Ostrander is running for town supervisor as the endorsed candidate. Now, the newest story allege, again, improprieties related to Mr. Ostrander's business, a security consulting practice. So clearly there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of concern about that. So Scott Ostrander has graciously agreed to speak to us for a few minutes and talk to us about his side or his version of the story, the event. So thank you, Scott, for joining us at such a late hour. Scott, can you take just a couple of minutes and tell me about what you do in your consulting business? It's a security consulting business, is that correct?
Correct. It's a security consulting business, which I'm hired to do security consulting for people that want security.
Okay.
So what I do is I consult with them, get a price. I subcontract people to work.
Okay, so you subcontract security guards. You're not actually providing the security guard services yourself.
Correct.
Okay, so can you explain to me how, from the licensing issue that's been brought up, how is this different? I do understand that as a police officer, if you were to personally provide security services, you don't need that same type of license. Is that correct? If you personally were providing security guard services.
That's correct.
Okay.
Police officers are exempt to have a security license.
Okay.
Because of their police status.
Okay. As a consultant, tell me about the types, without obviously divulging people's personal information, what types of events or services have you provided that are different from, say, the contractors that appear at SPAC or at concert venues? Can you tell me?
We focus on high-end security. We don't do like fair SPAC security.
Okay.
We just do higher-end security.
Okay, so Wendy Liberator from the Times-Union, her article specifically states a reference from a state official that indicated some level of licensing is needed. Can you explain to me in your own words what you find is the flaw with the Times-Union article? There's a little detail in there that I think might be a little confusing. It was confusing to me, so can you explain in your own words what the key difference is? Sure.
I was contacted by the Times-Union because they had an anonymous letter or phone call sent to them stating that I was running a unlicensed security company.
Okay.
And I explained to Wendy that my security is not a security company, it's a consulting business.
Okay.
So therefore I did not have to be licensed with the state because I wasn't running a security company.
Okay. I understand, and thank you, I understand you have documents from the county. So the county provided you with basically your ticket to do business.
Correct.
Under the description you've given me.
Correct.
Okay, great. Scott, this campaign, and this is just the primary, it's just, clearly the people are speaking. They're not interested in some of this constant mudslinging and the name calling and the this is worse than that. I joked to you, are you sure you want this job? You want this job, right?
I want this job because I just recently retired as a police officer, served the community for 29 and a half years, and have a passion to go out and serve it for another 10, 15, 20 years in the town.
You appreciate that. What do you think any of us can do in media as a community to really get away from some of what is almost acceptable? Don't you think it's acceptable politicking? Like, what can we do to help to maybe temper these conversations and just stick with the subjects?
Basically follow my campaign because it's been positive and there's been no mudslinging, and everything that was said by me or put out by me, I can back up with facts.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that Anything else that you want to add to the conversation with relation to this Times Union story? Is there anything else that you think is really important that the readers need to know about this story?
Well, I think it's funny that the end of the article said that there was no penalties, or it wasn't a state level issue. It was bounced back to the county issue, which I'm going to supply you with my county certificate that shows that I'm a security consulting corporation. I will give you those documents so you have them on file, because if it's bounced back to the county, I will furnish you with those documents so you have them, so everybody can see that I'm not in any kind of violation of state by not filed a security licensing company, which I do not have.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again, Scott. Thank you for coming out. And thank you to our neighbors and readers. I know this has been a very challenging ride, but I'm glad that you are having the ride with us together. So please, as I've said before, get out and vote. Primary day is September 12th, and let's take our voices to the poll and be heard. Have a good night.